Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back for another OPTC video, and in today's video we're taking the new Super Sugo Fest YAMATO into the Forest of Training Straw. So that was the team, those are the supports. Let's dive on in. Alright, so we're over here on the Hold'em stage, and basically what you want to do is you just want to pass 2 turns. Once you've passed 2 turns on Hold'em, you can pretty much farm up a bunch of orbs for your characters here. And if you get lucky like myself, you can actually get a recovery orb on Sasuke. Now, it's not essential to get a recovery orb on Sasuke, but just be mindful that Sasuke will also rotate adjacent orbs into matching. So you actually can use his special to guarantee yourself an orb on Shirashiri, Vivi, Rebecca, and your friend Captain Yamato. And then obviously Bardo Cavendish with their switch ability, like they're going to give themselves a matching orb, so like that's all fine. So you really just want to farm up an orb on your Yamato. I have completed this twice. I actually completed this first run. This isn't the first run, but it doesn't matter what orb you have on Sasuke, because you can actually just get rid of it by hitting perfects, and then you can just get your regular orb rotation that way. But lucky for me with this run, I actually had a recovery orb, so I thought, hey, let's just keep it. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you don't need it. But like, if you can get some sort of matching orb on Sasuke, preferably that's not strength or dex, that'll also work in your favor as well. On the stage against Kanjuro and Kinemon, we are going to use the Shirashiri special. These two Shirashiri are they're just like built for this forest. Like, they are just weapons. Them and Luffy Sanji are just so damn powerful for this particular forest, as their switch ability not only removes Blind and Despair, but it also removes Special Blind, which is the big thing with this particular forest. As you guys saw there, just with the chain boost, thanks to Shirashiri, we can actually just take that stage out. We can remove the paralysis on our captains, and with the support of Sabo, or Lucy, we can actually get our specials back on Vivi Rebecca. On the next turn against Kyoto Shiro, he's going to put up 3 turns of defense up, and then on this 3rd turn, he's going to put up damage reduction as well. He gives us 2 turns of special blind, and then on the next turn, he gives us another 2 turns of special blind. But don't stress, because we can actually just remove that with Shirahoshi Mancherry, as well as remove the slot blind that he does inflict as well. We are just sort of just going to pass our time here. Once he puts up that damage reduction, we are going to use our Vivi Rebecca special, and that way we can take this stage out. With the switch abilities of V2 Shirashiri, Bardo Cavendish, and V1 Vivi Rebecca, we have so much healing for this particular team, and then when we drop below 50% HP, we have damage reduction. So like, this team is like, I'm not going to say it's unkillable, but like, it's pretty damn close. Like, it is pretty damn close. Once the damage reduction goes up, we are going to remove all of it, thanks to the special of Vivi and Rebecca. We're going to use one of our super typings of Yamato here, that way we can get a chain multiplier. And just remember to hit with your Bardo Cavendish last. Hitting with Bardo Cavendish last, they just do a butt ton extra damage. Because, sorry, not Bardo Cavendish, with your Shirahoshi Mancherry. Because Shirahoshi Mancherry actually have color affinity as long as you are in that Psy variation. Thanks to the special of Vivi Rebecca. Moving on to the Jack stage, Jack's going to despair our captains for 2 turns. Again, the switchability of V2 Shirashiri is just absolutely god tier here, as we can just start removing that, and then we can take out Jack on the 2nd turn, instead of having to wait to the 3rd turn. On the 2nd turn, Jack is going to do a massive, monstrous HP cut, but kind of works in our favor a little bit, because we can actually get the chain multiplier from Yamato, provided we don't get too much healing from the switch abilities of Shirashiri and Bardo Cavendish. Either way, like literally just with the Yamato special and the super typing here, we have enough back-ended damage, thanks to switching into Bardo, having color affinity, and that partial orb boost that Bardo Cavendish give themselves with their switch ability. We also get the 1.75 times extra damage thanks to the Yamato special, and like I said, with that we're just pretty much good to go here. Make sure you don't switch with Vivi Rebecca though. The the dex variation of Vivi Rebecca actually doesn't get a buff under Yamato, because he's Vivi is free spirit and cerebral. So just be mindful of that. And whenever you do use the Yamato special, you really don't want that chain lock, as it is going to like stuff up your back-ended damage. Once we hit the next stage, we come up against Law, Zoro, Jiro, and Sobermask. Rip Sobermask. They are going to bind our top left, middle right, no, top right, bottom right, middle left, but thanks to Yamato's captain ability, we can actually remove that, like, easy peasy. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to just switch with our units to give ourselves a chain lock, and we do have a bunch of color affinity here. You should be switching into Cavendish, that way you get that little, that partial orb boost, and then literally with your chain lock from Vivi Rebecca, you should be able to take out both Zoro as well as Law in the back. Ideally, you just really want to take out Law, so just hit with someone first, hit with your 2 quick units on Law, and then use your Yamatos to take out poor old Zoro in the front. On the 2nd turn, you're going to switch into Bardo. That way you have color affinity against Sobermask, and basically the same deal. Like, he's just going to get absolutely destroyed by Bardo. So it worked really, really well. And it was actually quite nice taking down that stage without using any specials whatsoever. On to the next stage against Jack now. This is the most stereotypically annoying stage, and where most teams actually like to stall to get their specials back. However, with this particular team, we are not using the strat where we just hang on to a bunch of recovery orbs. We're actually hanging on to a bunch of WANO orbs, which is actually pretty cool. As I mentioned, with the switchability of Bardo Cavendish, with the switchability of V1 Vivi Rebecca, and the switchability of V2 Shirashiri, we can not only get a lot of healing, but we also get damage reduction. Jack is going to blow away our friend captain every 2 turns, and then after that, he is going to start doing like double shots. He does have 3 turns of damage reduction and threshold, as well as giving us 3 turns of attack down, so we can't really do anything for the first 3 turns anyway. But this is where that extra meat orb for Sasuke actually came in handy. But like I said, you don't actually need it. I did complete it without having a meat orb on Sasuke. At this particular point though, you won't have that orb or the super orb lock. And yeah, you'll just have like a random orb rotation on Sasuke anyway. But ideally, you should still have a full bottle of WANO orbs with everyone else. But once the damage reduction and the threshold goes away, we are still going to be missing our friend captain. Once that is gone though, we can actually start putting a bit of damage into our boy Jack. Once Jack's like defenses go down, we're just basically going to start hitting some greats, and we can just start doing some damage then. Remember to switch with Shirahoshi Mancherry first, that way you get that overheal mechanic, and then all of your extra healing from Bardo Cavendish, as well as V1 Vivi Rebecca, all that extra healing is actually going to go into your multipliers, and is going to start racking up some nice healing, in case you guys do need to take a few shots on the next stage against Kaido, because against Kaido, he does give us burn, and you have to be very, very careful what you do on that particular stage. Something to note before you do leave this Jack stage, however, you really want to make sure that you are not in your quick variations of Shirahoshi Mancherry and Bardo Cavendish. You want to make sure that you are Bardo and Mancherry. That way you don't get the special reverse that, what's his name? Kaido will inflict on the quick enemies when you do enter his stage. So against Jack, we're just going to sort of start whittling him down with normal attacks. I just removed the barrier from Sasuke here because, like, I just figured, like, look, I don't need the recovery. Like, once we hit the Kaido stage, like, he drastically reduces our recovery anyway. But as I mentioned, like, I did complete this very, very easily without having that recovery orb, so it does work quite nicely. Once all those defensive effects are gone, we can use a Yamato special. I figured just using Yamato specials here is the best way to go about it, because we don't actually need it for the rest of the run. But just be mindful that Yamato makes it a lot easier to hit perfects. So if you do want to use that on the Kaido stage, just be very, very careful, as she drastically makes it easier to land on perfects. And that can be a bit of a detriment, as Kaido gives you a burn on entry. The burn that Kaido gives is a very hefty burn. Like, it's a really hefty burn. I think it's something like 25k. So just be mindful of that if you are copying that perfect. But you should be able to actually take him out in one shot if you do like to, if you do want to hit that perfect with Cavendish, because your quick units in the back end are actually going to do a lot of damage. I would recommend getting Kaido quite low, as you guys saw with my particular run. Getting him quite low makes it very easy to switch into your Sai and Dex variation of Bardo Cavendish and V2 Shirashiri. That way, when Kaido revives on the next turn, you can switch back into your quick variants, and that way you can do a bunch more damage there. Thanks to Vivi and Rebecca too, we do get a chain lock too, which just means that we can just output a lot of damage with our great shots, and it just makes this forest so much easier if you have V1 Vivi Rebecca, like so much easier. Once Kaido revives, he does give us 3 turns of special blind. Once again, this is where Shirahoshi Mancherry is absolute god tier, because we can actually remove 1 turn of that before we move into the final stage against Basil Hawkins. In saying that though, like we still have enough HP to tank a shot here, but nevertheless, like we're pretty much hunky-dory good to go. If you want to there, you could hit a perfect, that way you could actually drop below the threshold, and you can actually do some more damage on this final stage against Basil Hawkins. Against Basil Hawkins, we're pretty much gonna have to pop like all of our specials to take him down, as this man has a lot of HP. And our team doesn't have, like, full synergy. It has good synergy, but it doesn't have, like, full synergy. Yamato is going to rotate any of those extra orbs that we did lose into matching orbs. And if she doesn't, you are going to turn them into rainbow orbs, thanks to the Shirahoshi Mancherry special anyway. I would recommend using Yamato's special first. That way you just get the higher chain boost. I think she gets a 1.3 compared to a 1.2 from Shirahoshi Mancherry. Either way, it's not that big of a deal, but you definitely want to use the Yamato special so that way you get access to her final tap. We're going to remove the despair that Hawkins inflicts, thanks to the Shirahoshi Mancherry special. Make sure to use Sasuke before you switch with Bardo Cavendish, if you do switch with Bardo Cavendish for whatever reason. Sasuke's going to be our orb booster, and then we can get rid of the defense up with V1, Vivi, Rebecca. We're going to finish it off with Bardo Cavendish. Their special gives our driven characters a 2.25 times attack boost, so make sure that you are hitting with your driven characters last. But remember that Shirahoshi and Mancherry also have color affinity, so there is that as well. But as long as you hit with the Yamato that use the special last, you will get this amazing final tap. And you can take out Mr. Basil Hawkins easy peasy. So that's going to wrap up the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go in there and belt the like button for me if you're new to the channel. Hit that big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Let's